The thing that's important about collaborations, as you know, is to me, I think you have to have a writing soulmate. You have to have somebody who you're going to be able to say, no, this doesn't work. Yes, this works. Let's do it this way, where our egos cannot get in the way of writing. The most important thing are the characters and the book. And immediately I knew that she and I would bond together that way. And it has turned out to be one of the most blessed connections I've ever made in my life. It's very different than what I do with my contemporary writing, where I have to make up the character and develop their motivations, where are they from? I have to create their world. What I love about historical fiction is the world is created for us. It's already there. And so I can spend my time developing what I extrapolate. So we knew a little bit about Belle de Costa Green, not a lot. There was only one biography that had been written about her. So we could, because we don't have any recordings of what they did, she burned all of her letters. So we were able to find letters for our next books. But we had to just really extrapolate and build. And that's what I absolutely love about historical fiction. These are real people who had a real impact on our lives, even if we didn't know about them, but a real impact on our lives. And so, but I could bring them to life in a way that you understand and in a way that uses all of my talents with fiction writing. We're very excited about our book coming out in June 27th, and it's called The First Ladies. And it is the story of best friends, Eleanor Roosevelt and Mary McLeod Bethune. And a lot of people don't know about Mary McLeod Bethune, but she was probably the most powerful Black person in the country between the 1920s into the 1940s. And she and Eleanor became best friends during a time of Jim Crow and segregation. They would come to DC together and couldn't even find a place to eat together. But except Eleanor was First Lady of the United States, and she was a civil rights advocate. And I like to think of her as the first ally, the first public ally, because she was doing everything in her power to normalize equality. In this book, it was interesting because it was different. And that's what I love about writing, because every book you should try to make different and challenge yourself. So this book, we have the two voices of Eleanor and Mary. At first, I wanted to write Eleanor and have Heather study and write Mary, because I said everybody would expect it the other way. So let's do it this way. But very quickly, we knew that there are little nuances in the races, little changes, little things you don't know, or little things I may not even know, but it's just natural, that we realized I had to write Mary and she had to write Eleanor. And I'll give you one example of a situation where we had in the book that was so funny. In the book opens up with Eleanor inviting, this is a true story. Eleanor invites Mary to an event at her house, a luncheon with women from across the country. The white women will not sit down to have lunch with Mary. They're like, are you kidding me? We're not going in there and sitting down and eating with this Black woman. Mary goes in there and she eats anyway, because it doesn't bother her. Fast forward to an event that Mary is at in Florida with James Gamble of Procter & Gamble fame, because he helped fund her. He loves her. He loved her. And so as Mary's walking in, she's looking around and she's thinking, this is wonderful. And because he has this event for her. So Heather wrote into that part of the story something like, and I wish those women back in New York 3 years ago could see me now. And I took it out because I was like, Mary's not thinking about that 3 years later. And then during our next edits go around, because we write on one document, Heather put it back in. So I was thinking, wow, I thought I had taken this out, and took it out. And it went back and forth until I realized what was happening. I was putting it in, she was taking it out. And I didn't even talk to Heather at first because I had to figure out, why did I want it out? Why did I want it out? And then I called her and I told her what has been happening. She's like, yeah, I kept thinking, didn't I put this in here? And she wanted it in because that was such a defining moment for her as a white woman, that people would not sit down with you because you're Black. And she had never heard of anything like that. She'd never seen anything like that. She was insulted. It was horrible for Heather as a person. And it was a defining moment. For me, as a Black person, and for what I know is Mary, that happens every day. So it was like, she's not thinking about something that happened 3 years ago, because since that time, she's been insulted 1,782 times. And so if you focus on every insult that you get, you can never move forward. And so it's those kinds of little nuances that we realize we have in because I had to even pause and say, why do I want it out? And so that's why I had to write the Mary character. She had to write the Eleanor character, but we worked together on every chapter. Yes, we've already signed our 3rd contract to work together. So we're very excited about that. We haven't decided on the book yet, only because we were working on getting the First Ladies in and getting it done. So in fact, I'm speaking with Heather today about what we're going to be doing on tour and what our next book will be. But I am writing my first solo historical fiction. And I'm so excited about this because it'll take place in the Harlem Renaissance. I don't have a title yet, but I always tell people, if you have a favorite Harlem Renaissance writer, the woman I'm writing about, Jessie Redmond Fawcett, she not only discovered them, she published them, she mentored them. Everybody from Langston Hughes, County Cullen, Zora Neale Hurston, Nella Larson, all of it is Jessie. And it's amazing to me that she's been erased from history this way.